In the tranquil town of Harvest Falls, a serial killer hides in plain sight. As the seasons change, the killer's method remains a chilling constant. This is the story of the Silent Harvest, a tale of terror unfolding under the guise of everyday life. It started with the disappearance of Linda Fletcher, a well-loved schoolteacher who failed to show up for work one brisk October morning. Her car was found abandoned by the side of an empty road, keys still in the ignition, but Linda was nowhere to be seen. The community rallied together, combing the woods and fields, but it was as if she had vanished into thin air. The second victim was Henry Mullins, a local farmer. His wife found their barn door ajar one evening, the light spilling out into the twilight. Inside, she discovered Henry's lifeless body hanging from the rafters, a burlap sack over his head. The police ruled it as a tragic suicide, but whispers of foul play began to spread like wildfire. As weeks turned into months, the pattern became undeniable. Every full moon, another resident would go missing or turn up dead, each scene more macabre than the last. The killer left no clues, no fingerprints, no DNA. The only commonality was a small carved wooden token left at each crime scene depicting a harvest moon. Children spoke in hushed tones of the harvest man, a boogeyman figure who came to reap his victims under the cover of night. Adults, though less vocal, could not shake the feeling that someone among them was responsible. Sheriff Tom Darby led the investigation, his own sanity fraying with each gruesome discovery. He pored over the case files late into the night, the faces of the victims haunting him. Each death seemed random, but Tom knew there was a connection, something he was missing. One night, Tom received an anonymous tip. The voice on the other end was distorted, masked by a static-filled line. It directed him to an old, abandoned farmhouse on the outskirts of town. With a sense of foreboding, Tom followed the lead, arriving at the decrepit structure under a blood-red moon. Inside, the farmhouse was a labyrinth of shadows and creaking floorboards. Tom's flashlight cut through the darkness, revealing old furniture draped in dust-covered sheets. In the basement, he found a hidden room, its walls lined with photographs of the victims. The killer spoke in a low, hypnotic voice, revealing that the townspeople had been under their influence for years, a hidden puppet master pulling the strings. Tom's world spun as the killer explained how each victim had been chosen for their susceptibility, their minds manipulated into obedience. The harvest moon tokens were talismans, binding their wills to the killer's own. The revelation was too much for Tom, and he felt consciousness slipping away. When Tom awoke, he was back in his home, the morning sun filtering through the curtains. The memories of the night before were hazy, like a fading nightmare. He rushed to the station, but all records of the investigation were gone, as if the killer had wiped them clean. And the silent harvest continued. An unseen predator in the midst of the unsuspecting, reaping lives with each turn of the season.